I just said. This is the first episode in 2 weeks. I'm a bit nervous. So, episode 82. Tonight we have on Mr. Wesley Black.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
So, episode 82, and to get the ball rolling, who are you?
Yes. So I go by the name Wesley Black, and I am a rap artist primarily, I'd say. I'm dipping into a few more genres that I guess you'll see coming out this year, but if you want to check out my stuff now, it's rap with a lot of electronic kind of influence to it, I'd say. So something I've been working on for a while, and I also love to do a lot of video stuff, so like directing and editing videos that we'll probably go into in a little bit as well, which is cool. So, and do of course a lot of like design stuff, study graphic design and stuff like that, but music is my main focus at the moment.
Sweet. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So how did you get into it and everything like that? Because, I mean, to be able to... So it's like a hip-hop hybrid almost, kind of. Like...
Yeah. It's... That's interesting, hey, because I feel like it's gone through such a change of like everything, because I feel like at the start... actually at the very, very start, the first... Basically, since I ever first learned to write any words or whatever, I was into writing stories and stuff, and that was my mum always...
When you were quite young?
Yeah, when I was like, literally when I first started writing in general, like I was just got into stories and stuff like that, and making my own like shows and movies and stuff. Like they're all terrible, obviously, and video games and stuff like that. So, so I've always been into creative writing and all that kind of stuff, coming up with characters and ideas and stories, and then maybe when I was like 14, 15-ish, I started getting into poetry, which we actually was just like studying in school and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. So I was like, enjoyed writing that as well. And getting into like the whole, obviously poetry is so different to stories. It's so much like more rhyming and flow and structure to it and stuff that one of my friends actually was showing me rap music that he was listening to at the time. So a lot of classic like old school guys, like you were saying that you enjoy and stuff as well, and like Eminem and all that kind of stuff, and
like Nas and Biggie.
Yeah, a lot of those. Yeah. Can't say anything wrong about those guys. That was sick. So after listening to them, I kind of just got inspired, and I started writing a lot more rap and stuff. And it wasn't until maybe 2019 I just like really wanted to take something in a different direction, and I started reaching out to these producers who did a lot of trap and EDM and electronic stuff, and I was like, I really want to work with you guys and stuff. So kind of went back and forth with them and a few different guys and such, and then I ended up just working on like creating an original sound. I think is like definitely what it's about.
It's the way to go in a way.
Yeah,
that it you make your own unique sound, and it's like, hey, you can be identified in a way.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Instead of just making just drum and bass or just house music, it's you make your own thing.
Yeah. I was wondering actually, since you said you're not as much into rap, have you heard of like type beats and stuff like that?
Type beats?
Okay,
no?
So there's like, it's kind of like a meme in rap, I guess. It's like rappers that are up and coming will search for like Drake type beat, and so it'll be like something that Drake would use or whatever, and stuff like that and whatever. So that was kind of like something I was like, man, I need to make something that will sound like Wesley Black type beat, like it's gonna have its own sound and stuff. So that's
So you actually produce your own beats?
I don't. No, okay. I don't. I was just, that was the more so the mindset. But yeah, like sometimes I have a little bit of a hand in producing, but I've given it a shot, and I found that I'm definitely stronger at doing visual stuff than that element of audio stuff.
Complete different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's heavy, hey.
Similar thing with me as well. It's like I can DJ and I can play other people's music, but I tried producing for 4 years and I just couldn't get my head around it.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It is so, like, just making structure, making beats. It's just, it's its own art form.
It really is. And I find it as well, like, I'm definitely getting better at it now, but when I first started, when people would make beats with me, like we'd catch up and someone's like, oh, let me just produce, and we'll kind of just make it from scratch. And I always found that hard. It's like, it's kind of hard to see as the beat's ever changing and in its progress to kind of work with it and stuff. Now I've definitely found that I'm doing a lot more, since that's what I was actually doing earlier today as well. We made a few stuff from scratch and all that. So, but yeah, like producing, like you said, is like, you have to create your own story just through like the beat and the instrumental and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, obviously adding vocals is just like another layer to that. So
That's it. Like, and that's the thing, is like what you said just before, being able to have the imagination at such a young, early age. It's like you adapt to it and just keep at it and just like don't drop it and just keep evolving it. Like that's amazing. That's what you got to do. Like,
100%.
Because there's so many people that's like, you know, they have such a great start and then they kind of just go, oh, life gets in the way, and they put it as like plan B, and then it's like they forget about it, and it's like, but you could have done something great. Like, that's awesome though. So like with the stories and stuff that you were making, like so like you would, like when you said video games and stuff like that, so like you the storyline behind the video game kind of thing, and like really go into depth on it.
Yeah, pretty much. And like I mean, video games I don't think I made since I was really little. Like kind of like
no, that's
not
fair.
made obviously, but like kind of created the idea of or conceptualized, I guess you could say. But with those, I guess it was kind of like, you know, like let me create like the main characters and the bad characters and all the kind of levels they have to get through and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff definitely helped me with writing, because I still write stories now, not as much because I've kind of put more of a forefront to music. But I'm definitely still writing stories, and a lot of those actually are so helpful. They like kind of transpose into music, you know, like all these characters and storylines I've created kind of like end up somehow making their way into music, or sometimes my music videos and stuff like that. So it's always, I find, at least for me, it's always handy to create it in as many avenues as you can. Just so, you know, like you said, you don't ever want to stop creating because it slows down the process and stuff, but always remember which one you want to put first, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, I've always found, because I've met so many people over just from doing what I do and hanging out and networking, DJing, this and that, the most interesting people are the storytellers, the people who can just like talk and just like share experiences and like, you know, just be able to pop something out, you know, not out of thin air, but just like think about like, you know, just like what you said before, the layers in a way, like actually like visualizing something can be able to go, well, no, like, you know, this and this and this kind of thing.
100%. I think that's a really big part of Wesley Black, is that it's not just about the music, it's really about the visual aspect. Like that's one of the key things, like like cover art as well and stuff, design obviously, like I would do that myself, but more importantly the music videos, like I really take them seriously and really get into them. Like it's not it's not something that I'll whip up with in a day kind of thing, you know. It's a long process for me.
That's good though. It's your art though. That's the thing, is like you want your art to be your art. You want to, you know, visualize what you want to put, you know, instead of just thinking about it, you're actually trying to put it on paper and make it happen kind of thing.
100%.
And so like, where did the name Wesley Black come from? So that actually that came from around the same time that I was writing a lot of stories. So probably when I was older, not when I was like a little kid writing and stuff, but maybe when I was mid-teens kind of thing. And interestingly enough, I was writing a story, I guess, because I'm still not sure how I want it to be. Like, do I want it to be like a movie or a series-y kind of thing? But I'm still actually writing it at the moment when I have time. But that movie or story is called The Angel Hunter. Okay. So that's kind of where Angel came from, which is the EP I just released. And one of the main characters in there, his name is Wesley Black. And so this is before I even started starting music, actually, because this was the same time I was just doing poetry and writing stories and stuff, and came up with this character, Wesley Black. In short, I don't want to say too much because I still got a lot of work on it, but it's kind of like one of the main elements of the story is like the sky is always changing color and stuff, and it kind of indicates to the people like what cycle the world's kind of at and whatever. And so once it gets to black, that's the last stage, and that kind of ties into people's names and stuff like that. So, you know, Wesley Black was someone who was born in like that black sky kind of period and stuff. So that's why the last name is Black. Wesley was just a name that I came up with when I was 14, 15 or whatever. And then, when I started taking music more seriously, I was like, I really need a name. And I was like looking through my stories and stuff, and I was like, wow, this Wesley Black character is like really cool. And I was like, well, I'm kind of him. Like, I guess I created him. That's so deep.
I may as well take it. Yeah. It is. It's an interesting story. But like you said, how it's important to just creating in all these different ways, it did end up like coming back to me, and those stories that I wrote years ago just ended up coming back into my life, and
it's
took
just
on a part of it.
It's just imagination though. It's amazing because that's the thing is like, you know, I've had guests on where it's like, oh, where'd you get your DJ name from? Oh, I was sitting at home, had a few beers, and it just came to me. Like, but then it's like you've actually like, you know, you've just tried to put like pieces and then put it all together, and then you come out with like, it's a sick name.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And then like the little that little video clip that I saw that you sponsored and stuff like that, the angel one.
Oh yes,
the CGI, like that's amazing. That's really
that
cool
one I could admit I did not make that. I can't do 3D stuff yet, but it was actually another artist from America. I believe his name is Farhow, and so I was just going back and forth with him and kind of giving him the idea, I guess, but full credit to him. He killed that looks really sick. And I just did some final touches on like the little animations and stuff, but he obviously did the full 3D rotating and all that kind of stuff, and he killed that because that was exactly what I wanted. I just said to him, I was like, oh, you know, I really have an idea for this angel artwork. It has to have like me as an angel in some aspect, but I went through a few ideas of like, do I want to do a photo shoot, and how am I going to play the angel thing into the photo shoot? But I really wanted to have this kind of figurine because I wanted to show like, kind of goes into that how we were talking about that creator aspect, you know, and how I created this Wesley Black character, and I was like, well, what better way to show that than have an action figure, you know, something that it feels like it's been created and manufactured and stuff like that. Well, that's the thing,
is that the action figure is kind of almost like a hero, like, you know, just the protagonist, like, you know, just the icon. Because I mean, like, look how cool that is. That's awesome.
Oh, appreciate that. Yeah,
and like to have that for your like, so on the EP cover, is it actually like just a picture of just that? I mean, it rotates and stuff like because it's the video, but like, is it just like that?
It's it's one of the closer ones up. He's on like a slight angle, and he's in that pose. And there is a few other artwork variations we got off Farhow. So he did a really good job with, because I gave him a few ideas. I was like, can we get 3 different artworks? Because one of them I want to be the album cover, of course. One of them I want to animate, and then one of them I want to I haven't actually posted it yet, but it's some sort of like, it kind of ties into that action figure thing, and it's like the whole box set and stuff like that. So kind of what it would look like there, and that actually was a really good idea in terms of that. The amount of messages I got after that of being like, oh, you're gonna make this into a real action figure and all that kind of stuff. And
like if you do, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, and so many people seem like super genuine and keen about that I was like, oh wow, I think I might actually have to. So I'm definitely looking into it now. So
just hit up China or something like that. Maybe 1,000.
Literally. So keep an eye out. It probably, I'm guessing it will be quite pricey. That I won't be able to make too many. So if you're definitely keen, then stay in touch, because it's something I really want to make now. I think it should be
when
really
you do,
fun.
hit me up, because I want to get one.
I appreciate that.
I'll buy one.
I appreciate
just so I can like
that.
put it somewhere, like, you know, as a little, you know, icon thing.
I think that would be really sick, and something that I haven't seen like many people or any people, to be honest, like do yet. So I was like, let me tackle that, you know, like
it's unique. It makes you, you know, it makes you stand out from the rest, kind of. Well, not from the rest, but like from everyone else. Because it's like you've got that image, you've got that icon behind you. As I said, the protagonist kind of thing.
Like the whole aesthetic into it. Yeah.
By the way, as well, I just wanted to say, you guys. So just quickly, every guest I get on, they always bring like a 6-pack of beer or something like that. This guy brought a coffee. Like,
I did.
First time I've ever had to boil the kettle for a guest.
I actually brought one of these little Nescafe satchel things. Cool. So luckily you boiled the water for me and all that. I thought it might be a strange request, but
thank you for giving me an alcohol break.
Yes. I don't want to send you into any spirals or anything like that. So
you know, it's just lifestyle I live.
Exactly. So
I wanted to ask as well, so like with your music and stuff like that, how do you go about making it? Like, how many songs have you made? Like, because you know how like with, you know, DJs and producers and stuff like that, they might have like 300 demos, and they might have like 7 songs out of those 300 demos. Like, when it goes to like actually like, you know, writing bars the right term?
Exactly.
You're still learning all this. So, but like when it goes to like writing bars and stuff like that, like how do you go about doing it? Like, because, you know, like I've talked to people where they say they throw their heart and their soul into it, or how they're really feeling recently, or like some things have been bringing them down, or things that have been bringing them up. Like, I mean, we'll listen to your music in a bit, but then like how many songs have you released so far? And like, Because you said since 2019, right?
Yes, I think actually 2018. I put the first Spotify song on there, I believe. Yeah, but 2019 I started going in a different direction, kind of like the direction that I'm going with through this angel thing and stuff. So yeah, I'd say that's actually a really good question, because I think I find my process changes a lot. Hey, like in some of my earlier stuff, it'll be purely just basically like you were saying, what I was going through and pure emotion and stuff like that. And then when I really took this Wesley Black character kind of seriously, and this kind of artistry really seriously, I started thinking about like I don't know, in a way it's kind of like acting, I guess. Like it's kind of like, in terms like it's like what would this Wesley Black character feel in this situation? So it's kind of a combination now of what am I going through in my life, and how does it go through this like Wesley Black portal and stuff. So I still kind of say it in that way that this character will kind of go about it, where it's like it's really aggressive and a lot of it's confident, but it's also like quite existential at times, and I consider a lot of things, and a lot of like paranoia and stuff and anxiety and stuff like that will come into it. So it's a lot of real stuff, but kind of gone through this like portal, as I guess I could say,
like proper human emotion kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, so that's definitely a lot of what you can hear in that Angel EP. And as well, I can't lie, one of my biggest inspirations, rather than listening to music for some reason, is watching movies, and I get super inspired by movies that I watch. So sorry, which you can see in music videos as well. You know, you can see what movies I've probably been watching and getting inspired by, so I can make stuff like that. And yeah, you know, just when I see yeah, I guess I just really get inspired by the visuals. Hey, like, you know, when there's really dramatic colors and these sick characters and stuff, and I'm kind of like, oh, this character seems like someone I know, and kind of this story seems like something I've been through and stuff. So a lot of times, yeah, after watching movies, I'll be like, oh wow, I gotta start writing, and I'll go through a couple songs and stuff like that. I think now that I just realized it, I did devolve a bit from what you first asked when we're talking about how many songs. I'd say maybe like I think there's maybe about 4 or 5 singles, and now I've just added that EP as well, which is 7-track EP. 2 of those are singles actually, so maybe yeah, around like 10ish songs are now on Spotify. And in terms of how many I've actually made, yeah, definitely similar to how you were saying, a lot of DJs go through lots of songs, but I'm definitely at a point now where I'm taking it super serious, and I'll I'll cut a song if it's not like A tier or S tier or something like that. You know, exactly. I was like, if it's not good enough to release, then I'm still gonna record it. Like what I write, I have to record it. I make sure now, and I don't half record anything and give up, because a lot of times, even if the song's bad, I'll go back to it and I'll be like, oh, these few lines were good, or like this kind of idea was good, or like this structure was good and stuff. So you should never delete stuff that you think you've done bad, in my opinion. Like you can always learn from it and
that's it.
Take strengths from it. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Because when you look back on it, like, oh damn, like I was talking about that, and like it just it keeps the ball rolling. And not the education, but the learning process behind it. Like I was, it's the same thing with my DJing, for example, as well. Like I was saying about mixes, like that I've uploaded.
Yeah.
Right back in the day, if I go and listen to my early ones, it's like, holy shit, like I sounded horrible.
Yeah.
But it's like going, okay, well, look where I am now, though. Like, kind of thing. It's the process.
Exactly. And I'll find like a lot of older songs from Spotify, I'd had put them up, and then I'll take them down and stuff, because it's, like, that's sometimes like how it just is, you're like, oh, well, I want to have my best stuff up there for people to listen to. But some of my older stuff, I think not as highly of it as my newer stuff, but some people, like, oh wow, this song like really like connected to me and stuff, or I really like this song and stuff. So in the end of the day, like, you are your harshest critic and stuff.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Exactly.
And that's what I mean. You re-listen to it like, oh my God, like, why did I say that? Or like, why did I play that song? But then to someone else, it's like, no, that was a good part of the song.
Yeah. Someone will just be listening and nodding and not taking like all these criticisms that you're coming up with yourself, It's like, you don't want to get too paranoid in terms of your own music. That's for people to listen to and judge and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I feel, at least.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's art, and art is always always subjective,
no
matter what. Like, whether it be the artist or just the person viewing the art.
Yep.
Rach, can you let the cat out if that's all right? He's banging on the door. So I wanted to ask as well. So like, with the process of you making your music and stuff like that, how long would it usually take for you to write a track? Like,
yeah,
because like, how would you? Because if you don't produce the beats behind it,
yep.
then do you just kind of like have a tune in your head and think about the lyrics that could match to it? Or
yeah, it's yeah, that's a good question because yeah, obviously sometimes it will change, I guess. Like sometimes I will after, like, as I was saying, like after I watch a movie, I'll reach out to these producers or whatever and go through like some of their catalog or like send them a message or something like that and be like, oh, you know, like what are you working on at the moment and stuff, and maybe sometimes send references to songs that have inspired me or maybe something from the movie soundtrack that it's inspired me, and
that's pretty cool.
kind of like through that, which is good. But obviously, like you were saying, that takes time, obviously, because someone can't just make it on the spot.
That's it.
But
yeah.
when I find I do go through catalogs or like maybe a friend or producer sends me some beats, then that's good because I sometimes will write to it straight away because the beat's just like, wow, that's like I can picture like exactly what I want to say, and a good test as well. If I can see a song like visually, then I'll be like, okay, that means like I've got a really good idea now. I can work on this, and stuff like that. So like having the actual song already there, like a producer sent it or finding it in someone's catalog, is a lot faster for a process, especially if it's like I come across it after I'm already in that inspired zone and I hear it and I'm like, okay, done. And I'll write that usually like really fast. Like I think in terms of verses, definitely I'll be like a fast writer. Hooks sometimes a bit harder because, you know, it's got to be catchy and stuff, and it's got to have a bit more appeal to you know, how you're going to play this live. Are people going to be able to sing or chant this and stuff, and stuff like that. But yeah, now I've done a bit more of starting catching up with a producer and starting from scratch and stuff. So that's interesting, you know. I'll still go through a similar process where I'll be like, oh, this is something I'm liking now, this is something I'm listening to, do you reckon you can make something in vein of this, or like something with these kind of emotions and stuff like that. And that is actually really fun now, you know. He'll put in the drums so I can get the timing and start writing, and he'll just keep building on it, so we'll be working at the same time and stuff. And it's interesting because sometimes I'll write before he's done, or sometimes he'll finish before I'm done writing and stuff. So yeah, it's cool. Like, it just depends on who you work with and stuff. And yeah, the process is always changing for me, and I think I enjoy it that way. I think I enjoy like not having one set way to always make music, and I have a bit of options and stuff. And
well, it's like the evolution almost.
Yeah,
because you know, even for me as well, it's like, you know, I'll listen to a specific genre at certain times, kind of thing. It's like you just keep the, as I said, I'm gonna say it again, keep the ball rolling, kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
Because like, instead of just staying in one position, one complacent space, like if you don't learn and evolve at the same time, then it's like, are you really progressing, kind of thing?
Yep. No, exactly.
I was gonna say as well, then what type of movies inspire you then? Like Blade Runner and stuff?
Oh man, I love that movie. I love especially. Oh, do you have a preference on which Blade Runner you like?
To be honest, the old one.
Okay,
I do like the old one.
I actually
just
really
a young Harrison Ford.
Yeah. It's interesting seeing him change and stuff. It was cool that they kept him in, but I really do love the new I love both of them, really but good, I think the new one's my personal preference out of those.
It really does paint the world though.
Yeah, that's crazy because I'm not, to be honest, I'm not usually a huge fan of like heaps of crazy CGI and all this. Like if it's like too overdone, but that was like just the perfect amount, and they did like everything they needed to do. They kind of achieved, and like all those orange skies and stuff is really cool and stuff. That's definitely an inspiring movie. I really love
kind of thought so.
True, with the colored skies and
just
stuff.
Like talking about it, I'm like thinking like, with music and like Blade Runner's a pretty cool film.
Yeah. No, 100%. I have you heard of Paul Thomas Anderson, director?
No,
he made like Boogie Nights and I didn't, but that's another inspiring movie for sure. But he's probably my favorite director, and Stanley Kubrick, who you probably would have like does The Shining and
Very fit.
and Eyes Wide Shut,
Orange.
Clockwork Orange, yep. Space Odyssey, 2001: Space Odyssey.
This is the guy you sent me the other day, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Tarkovsky. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because me and Damo were studying film together, and I dropped out, and he's still doing film.
So. Oh, awesome! That's awesome. I actually studied film as well, so in more so hopes to be an editor, but maybe director or writing is something that I definitely love doing. But so I love all those types of movies, and so probably Stanley Kubrick is one of the first one comes to mind. A lot of Korean movies I've been watching now as well, and they're just like so insane that like when I was like younger I'd be like, oh, you know, obviously I don't want to watch anything with subtitles or anything in black and white kind of thing, but now it's just like, oh, I don't know, I would like recommend them highly to anyone. Like what's it called? Memories of Murder is one of my personal favorites. It's like some Korean murder mystery thing, and it's just so layered and stuff. And after seeing movies like that, where I'm like on edge, or there's so many characters and stories and stuff, I was like, whoa, I gotta create now. You know, it's inspiring and stuff.
That's so cool, though.
So yeah,
like, everyone I've talked to, they've always been like, oh, I listen to this music, or I've done this with my day and this and that. But like to be able to get inspiration from film, from media, that's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because like I was saying earlier as well, like I'm not. Sometimes I struggle to say who's one of my biggest musical influences, because I genuinely like this. Sounds like what's the right word? I'm not sure, sorry, but
it's all good.
like genuinely I do just get inspired so much more by movies. Like a lot of times I will get inspired by music. Obviously it's like, wow, that sounds really sick, or he's pushing the boundaries or something like that. So can definitely not shy away from that. But yeah, I don't know, movies are just something else that I can really visualize it and stuff, and the whole story aspect really catches me.
Even just to dive into the soundtrack though, that's awesome to be able to actually this song really got to me. And it's like, because that's the thing as well. Like one of my favorite films is Tron Legacy, the new one, and like Daft Punk did the whole soundtrack to it.
I haven't actually seen that. Hey,
it's pretty good. Like,
yep.
Neon future, you know, technology, this and that. Yeah. But the fact that Daft Punk actually did the soundtrack to it, they're just like, it just pairs so well with the music to be able to create the world. Like I said with Blade Runner, it just creates this visual masterpiece, I would say. Yeah. And it just like, for me, that's inspiration. But it's inspiration just to chill and sit back and watch a movie kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there'll definitely be some movies where I just watch it and I'll be like, oh, that was nice. And then I just go home thinking about it and stuff. But and then sometimes it's the other hand. So I don't know, I just like to, as long as I keep consuming and stuff, you always find somewhere to be inspired by. And that's probably helps as well with my process, making sure if I keep creating and I keep consuming, I'll always have something that I can kind of do with that, something I can keep creating myself.
You just keep moving and keep evolving, like I'll say it again.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Because that's the thing about artists. It's like being an artist. As I said, you just gotta take it all in and just like see what you can spit out. I guess.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask as well. So like you do like live shows and stuff like that. Like,
yes. Yep.
So like, how did you get into the live shows, and like what's it even like standing on stage spitting bars kind of thing? Like...
it's interesting. It's been a really, really, really big change from the first shows I've done.
What was one of your the first shows and stuff like that?
Yeah, I remember my very, very first show was actually when I was still in high school, and my friend who's just like super business orientated, and he was making music as well, but not as seriously. Like he was kind of more focused on like the business side of it, I guess. But he was he was the first person I ever recorded music with and stuff in like his garage and stuff. So shout out Vid one time. He goes by XIV. He'll be at my next show. So so he organized this show, and it was at YMCA HQ, which had like 200 capacity and stuff.
That's in Leaderville, right?
Yes, yeah.
And next to skate park. I've been told so many stories about that place.
Yeah, it's a strange venue, because I did go there recently, and I was like, oh, it's I don't know, it's got its ups and downs, but it is all ages, which is what I needed at that time, because I was 17, I believe, and yeah, so that was really cool, because he set that all up himself, and he put on like some pretty sick DJs as well. Like to be honest, I'm not too good at remembering names, because I wasn't as much into DJing kind of stuff culture then. But do you know Lude?
Oh yeah, Lude.
Yeah, he was there, and I'm actually
that's nuts then, because Lude's pretty big.
Yeah. So I don't know how he did that, because I think he was like somewhat big then as well. That I was he was telling me, because I honestly had no idea who he was, but he was like, oh no, this is like a big deal and stuff. So that was cool. And then
I had my first kind of more. I'll give you a little term, I guess, that you can take away today. So
Alright.
6K is like
6K.
is something that everyone in like that Perth rap scene is kind of knows about. It's like the 6,000 area code. So like everyone in Perth basically. So it's just like kind of like like 6K making moves and stuff, just is like, you know, Perth and stuff is like making moves and stuff. So that's a term a lot that people use a lot. But yeah, the first time I kind of got into that 6K kind of culture was 2018 when I started putting out music, and I made this little kind of demo mixtapey kind of thing, and a few of the songs I've still got on Spotify. I think just 2 of them, but with that demo kind of thing, this guy called Carlo, who runs an event managing kind of business called Goat 6K, he just messaged me and was like, I was actually really excited for you to put out, you know, a full project that I can put you on an actual set now and stuff. And I was like, definitely remember losing my mind back then. I was like, yo, I'm actually getting like a gig, like this guy actually knows who I am and stuff. So that was really sick. I remember going to sound check and meeting the other artists. There was like 5 of us on the lineup, and I was like, what, this is so cool. These guys are like rappers and stuff, and they get money. So that was really cool. And
paid
yeah,
yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
So I was definitely pretty happy about that. But for a while I was definitely pretty shy. Or not shy, but like I was definitely a lot more anxious during my performance, and it was still a matter of finding myself and kind of knowing who not to sound like I'm just losing the word again. But what was that? Sorry. Yes, yeah, that is the word. Yeah, yes, yeah. Not to sound pretentious, but like I still had to find that Wesley Black character kind of thing, and you know what I mean. So like I was kind of didn't really know what direction I wanted and what I wanted to look like and sound like and stuff. So that was actually the first time I met young Rach, who is currently my manager. Shout out young Rach.
Yeah,
she's a
shout
legend.
out.
She's
just quickly, who's just sitting in the corner over there.
Yeah. She's
Hi.
yeah, she's been helping me majorly since my last 2 releases, so that EP and the last single 11, and as well the music video in between for Outlaw. So and basically like all gigs and stuff, like she's been really good with setting them up and stuff like that. So that's where I first met Rach and the rest of 6KMC. And that's where I met just like so many other rappers in that kind of area and stuff. So I remember 2018 I first started doing them, and 2019 I ran my first event called Armageddon, and that was so exciting because I just wanted to run it just because I just put out a song called Red, and I was like, hey, well, I may as well perform it live. Like I haven't been booked for any gigs, so I may as well just run one myself. And after that I just felt like a lot of things changed as well. Like people were like, whoa, that was a really cool performance, and a lot of more gigs came from that set and stuff like that, and I met so many more people and stuff, and I started taking kind of artistry a lot more serious. Like I was like, I don't want to give too much away, but this upcoming show is called Armageddon 3, because the second one as well, which was even better, that was a sellout in the basement of the Rechabite, and that was
that place is that's an amazing venue.
It is. It's tough for rap, I've heard, because they definitely weren't expecting to have like an actual like vocalist there, because a lot of the times it would be mainly DJ gigs and stuff, and they didn't they weren't like that accustomed to setting up like mics and all that kind of stuff, and not in a bad way, but like it was just like that was one thing that that was a bit harder and took us a bit more time, but after the end, it went kind of flawlessly, and that was a really good set and stuff. And so now this is the 3rd one that I'm doing, just because I put out my EP. I was like, oh, well, I'd love to like perform this live, because all these hard songs that I've just been sitting on, and I refuse to play them at any of my gigs, even though I've been doing like a lot of gigs lately. I've been like, no, I can't play any of them except the ones that are already out. I want people to be surprised. I don't want people to have heard me play this song 3 times and then hear it on the EP and be like, oh yeah, that song. I want people to be like, whoa, what is that song?
Yeah,
so
fresh material.
yeah, so this next gig is super important to me, that I get to perform all these songs that I've just been waiting on, and I've been just like picturing me performing them live for ages and stuff. So so sorry, I kind of went a bit all over the place, but
good.
so I guess
I get to take a seat back.
yeah. You're right. Since 2018, then I guess, and now
Oh, that's what I was meant to say. Sorry. Now that I've got this upcoming Armageddon, without saying too much, I've really taken a lot more ideas and planning for it to make it somewhat of a special show. Like, if you've seen any of my shows before, this one will be different. I can promise that, because I've been coming up with some ideas and stuff that I can't wait to show and stuff, and that I haven't really spoken about yet because I want to catch people off guard, but I'm super keen to bring those into fruition, and all these ideas I've been having to actually like put them into work, because I've just been working on them for ages, and I've been testing some of the stuff and just make sure it all works. So this next show should be really fun in terms of how it's gonna be as like an audio experience, just because there's so many new songs and stuff, and as a visual experience definitely, because just trying to push the boundaries a bit. So
no, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say as well, I'm pretty sure you sent us one of the videos for maybe Red.
Yes,
I think it was.
The music video, or just it like the live performance?
The live performance.
Yes. So this is from last Armageddon, which was November. And keep in mind as well, this show we ran in literally 2 weeks. Like, we had
really just 2 weeks promotion.
Yeah, because we couldn't get anything booked for months, and the song was coming out, and it was just really troublesome at that time to get like a book gig. I can't exactly remember why, but they were like, oh well, you can have this spot, and this was the release day. The song released on Friday midnight, and this was Friday night night, and it was in the city Rechabite, and I was like, okay, Friday night release day, I'm not gonna say no to that. We'll just take 2 weeks and we're just gonna hammer it in. So it ended up working out way better than expected and stuff, and was definitely one of my favorite gigs for sure.
All right, let's play the video because it sounds amazing. Sounds so cool. Like, look at the crowd, they're all getting into it. It's amazing. I've never been to an event like this ever. I've always wanted to.
Oh, that's sick.
That's sick. So how long would your set be then? Like, do you just get like an hour? Because like, you know, most DJ sets hour to an hour and a half kind of thing. Damn, look at you go just there.
Yeah, there's definitely a few shots in there that, oh man, I just
play that last bit again, Damo. That's amazing. You just
I'm flying all over the place. There I am. Having
that's
I can't lie.
Right there.
You'll probably understand me as well. Having long hair just brings a whole different dimension as well. Like, it's like it makes the videos look so much more hectic.
Don't keep giving out the secrets.
Yeah. I mean, nothing. But
you guys didn't hear anything.
Yeah. But So with sets like that, I think that may have been like 30-ish minutes. It kind of depends. This upcoming one will be my longest set so far, so it's going to be between 45 and an hour, I think. There's like maybe like a little interlude or two in there where I can just take a breather and stuff, because an hour is a long time, and especially in terms of rapping. Just because it's so fast and you got to be aggressive. Yeah, and especially in terms of like, I don't know. Since I started rapping, I always got anxious. I was like, man, if people aren't moving, I feel so nervous up here. I feel like I'm like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. So I've always made sure like I got to put in like 110% and just like lose my breath by the end of every performance or whatever, which sounds like bad, but I'm working on ways around that. Like, I'm doing a lot of breathing exercises and meditation and tea now, because just someone recommended me to that, and after doing that before a few gigs, I was like, oh, this really actually helps. Like, breathing exercises are like very, very high recommendation if you have to do like some sort of live vocal stuff, and probably just live stuff in general. If you're moving around a lot, like it's a lot. And especially 30 minutes of constantly, well, you saw I like to do a lot of jumping, and I like to do a lot of
that's the thing. Like, I'll always reference this, but one of the best guests we ever had on, his name was Genga, right?
Yep.
And basically, like, he just put it in black and white. If you go on stage and you're not having a good time, the crowd's not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
But if you go on stage and you just tear it up and you just have a fucking amazing time,
yeah,
everyone's going to get into it.
It's very true.
Even if you maybe like make a few mistakes here and there or this or that, I mean, they won't know it because you're just getting up there just like a rock star and
yeah.
time kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you're confident, then people won't think won't think anything of that, and that's exactly like you said, like
they'll feed off your energy.
Yeah, exactly. And you would know as well, it's your kind of job as a performer to kind of tell people kind of like, oh yeah, like kind of like, not like how they should be feeling, but like exactly like what you said, like if you're hyped up, they'll be hyped up and stuff, and if you're like really connecting with the crowd, they'll connect with you back and stuff like that. So something that was really good about that Rechabite gig as well is that there was no stage. There was a stage that was like about like this thick. So I was standing on that, and look, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a very tall guy, so I was like basically still shorter than everyone. But that was actually kind of like, we used that to our advantage in the end. At the start, I was like, oh, this is like not great. I was like, this is so weird for like a gig, just doing a ground level gig, and I don't know, it just didn't feel right. But then as we started doing like what's it called? Sorry, sound check and stuff, and we went through a few songs. I was like, wait, we can actually really use this to our advantage. So from the first song, we kind of jumped into the crowd. We really just walked across into them, but just get in the middle of them and take advantage of these like wireless mics and all that, and just really jump in there. And that's kind of one thing that I didn't actually plan for, but it just ended up happening. But with my song Red, that is just like, strangely now, there's just like an unwritten rule that after that first chorus, I have to go into the crowd, and everyone spreads around and stuff, and we do the little chanting kind of part, and then on the drop we all jump in and stuff.
That's so cool.
It's really fun. It's like that song's little tradition now. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's what you want. Though, is you need but you want the interaction. Like you have that interaction. People go to your show and be like, bruh, he got off stage and came into the crowd and made a circle. Like,
exactly.
That's how the crowd will remember you.
Yes,
kind of they'll go like, nah, I want to go to his next show. Like, I just had so much fun. When's the next one?
It's like, if you want to push into someone and jump off the walls and stuff, come over there. Like, I'm not going to stop you. And so I've definitely taken a few elbows while I was in there, obviously at my height. But the advantage is for some reason, I'm just like, my mom always used to call me a monkey when I was little, because I was just always like climbing and jumping and stuff. And as you can see, it's helped in my performances. I remember at my last one, I randomly just did a jumping, spinning kind of ninja kick for some reason. But when I did that, it kind of went off and stuff. So that was really fun and stuff. And so that's handy when I do a show at like Jackrabbit Slims or the Rosemount or something like that, where there's an actual like decently high stage, that I'll just like go in the crowd. And when I got to start rapping again from that second verse comes in, I'll stay in there for like 15-20 seconds, then I gotta like just run and I just jump up the stage and stuff, and I gotta get back into it. So that's definitely
I can
helped
imagine
a lot.
It's just like, oh god, all right, quickly,
everyone
move.
There's been a few times where I was like struggling. I was like really in the middle of it, and like I had a wide mic or something like that, or I just couldn't make up the jump because it's like really high, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get up here. So those are really good. And as well, actually, strangely with Red as well, now that that's kind of the thing that we do on that second chorus. During that first chorus, I'll stay on stage, but I've noticed that my last like 2 or 3 shows, people have just started going like, oh wait, this is Red, so they go back and they jump in the middle for their first one, for the first chorus, which is really sick. And then the second chorus, I'm like, well, I mean, that looks like fun, I gotta come and join you now. So it's good fun, and stuff like that is like like crowd interaction is just like number one, and like energy, like you were saying, just show a lot of energy.
It hit you right in the feels though, right? It
Man,
was just like after a show, you're just like, oh my god, holy shit, what a night, kind of thing, right?
Literally, and I feel like gigs have been consistently getting better and stuff like that, and I'm actually super thankful to Rach as well, because she's like, been making sure, she's like, I'm not sure about this gig, or this gig sounds really good and stuff, or she'll make sure, I'm in a good spot on that gig and stuff like that, that it feels important, and it feels like I'm kind of like leading up to something. And like after every gig now, I'm definitely always like out of breath, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna sit down for like 5-10 minutes,
just relax.
yeah And I was like, but then it's really good. And a few shows as well, which is like, this is definitely something that struck me right in the feels, that in a few of my songs, actually, it was a few of my songs randomly, I just did like a little, do you know what like an ad-lib is? I don't know if that's like a rap term, but it's like when you do like the main lines, and then like an ad-lib would just be like, yeah, or like, hey, like just the
like
kind of backgroundy,
kind of thing,
like the backup vocals kind of thing. But so
strangely, in just a few of my songs on the drop, I would just go, oh my God. And then that kind of turned into a thing that a few gigs as well, when I was about to head out on my set was next, that the like, I don't know who started it, to be honest, but maybe some of my friends or something, or some of the other artists, but they did like a little oh my God chant, and so that just went on for a while.
That's so
and then
cool.
Yeah, like that stuff was like really wholesome, and that, like, I remember being really nervous for this one gig at Jack Rabbit Slim's, and that exact thing happened, and then I was like, wow, I actually feel like a lot better now and stuff. Like it's really cool. Yeah,
thing, right?
Yeah, it's good to see like your friends in the crowd and stuff, and like people actually supporting or like knowing stuff about you. Like when people know your lyrics or something, that's like really weird, and like in a good way, obviously, but it's like crazy. It's just like, whoa,
it hits you right in the heart. Like, you're just like, oh my God.
I was like, oh, you actually listen? Yeah.
You guys like me?
Yeah. I was like, hey, I appreciate that. So
cheers, bro.
yeah. So performing is like, definitely one of my favorite elements. Like no matter how I'm feeling, if I've had like a rough day or week or whatever, like going after a performance, I always like feel like really good about myself, on top of the world for like the next few days at least, because I'm like, wow, that was like fun and stuff. And which is why I've really taken it seriously, to be like, okay, I gotta make sure that there's an aura around like some sort of Wesley Black show now. I was like, what can I add to it and stuff. And at that last one that we just saw a bit of, I tried to add a little bit, but obviously that one we had 2 weeks notice, that so many of my ideas for Armageddon 2, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep onto these, and I'm gonna work on them for Armageddon 3, because I want to actually do them. I don't want to rush them, you know. So that one I did a bit of just stage design for it. So I was like, to the artist, I was like, can you guys bring in some stuff, and we'll set up the stage differently. Well, stage, it was that Record Bite basement, so that kind of stage area differently for each performer, you know, just to give a little something else, so you know who's on stage, and when you get pictures, they've got their own setup in the background and stuff like that. So I thought that was a cool start, and yeah, like I said, I just can't wait to take so many more of my ideas to the next level and at this next show and stuff. So
it just sounds like I'm sitting here with a rock star.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You just got the ball rolling, and it just seems like it's going to keep rolling.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's definitely. I just got to keep on top of my ideas and stuff. Obviously, not all of them will be able to come to fruition, but like I was saying with songs, just never delete them. Keep those ideas there. You never know. Maybe you need more money for them, and say give it like 3-5 years or something, you'll be able to do it and stuff. So keep those ideas. You never want to lose them, I guess. Yeah.
I was going to ask as well, do you have a music video clip for Red at all? Or
I do actually. Yeah. It's on there. It is an older one, so that's the only reason I didn't send it. But I'm happy for you to check that for sure.
And like, do you get in the is the music video clip like a live?
No,
clip,
it's not actually. Yeah, because
do you get in the middle of a crowd?
I don't. I know. So that one, that one, unfortunately not. But
still, it just sounds like this song would just go off though.
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun. It's like the whole structure of it as well. It's like it has that little breakdown part that's still kind of like bouncy, and so everyone's kind of like, you know, like waiting for it, and they're like, hey, you know, like waiting for the drop kind of thing. So it's got that whole aspect. So that's we set up a little tea party in the forest kind of thing. This is, I'm gonna be honest, this is one of my a little bit older ones, so I have improved since then, I'd like to think. But so these shots as well, obviously red being the main color and stuff, and we kind of just set up this little this was actually at Hazard Studios, so we went into
this
was
so
an all white
cool,
room, but yeah, and this was I missed it. Yeah, I'm big on mirrors, if you couldn't tell.
So that's not you though, is it?
That is, yeah.
That is you.
I know, I look a bit different. I had that bleach blonde hair and not much of a beard or anything, but I've gone through a few looks, but
still, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, and those scenes were really sick as well, so that took me a while to perfect, but basically, big sheet, really, really thin, like the thinnest one I could get, and a really strong light behind it, and we had to stand really close to the sheet to get this kind of shadow theater kind of look. I could have edited that a bit better now, but through the post-production, you can make a lot of changes, you know, like the shadow theater was not as prominent then, but and there's me eating the rose. Obviously, I didn't actually eat it. It was just beside me.
Course. Of course.
Just in case anyone was wondering.
You want to do it for art.
Yeah.
For music.
I'm on that plant-based diet, you know.
So, what's the story behind this then?
Yeah, so this is kind of through a lot of I guess the best way to say it was like
was kind of like a song mainly about like trust and stuff, and kind of my doubts and fears and stuff. So a lot of that kind of trust element is like, you know, obviously roses are super symbolic of love and affection and stuff like that. So so I was like, well, what if we turned a rose into a weapon and stuff, you know, kind of using a love is war kind of thing, and kind of turning that against, but you don't want to see the characters, because I wanted the main focus to be, okay, he's clearly holding a rose and there's clearly a lot of stabbing going on and stuff like that, and yeah, basically, how could I turn this into a weapon to show my story, you know? So basically about, like, you know, obviously some relationships are difficult and stuff, and so that's what I wanted to turn that love is war kind of aspect into. And the T was kind of more symbolizing like some sort of realization and stuff, and kind of Alice in Wonderland inspired, I guess.
Yeah,
like a tea party in the forest is always pretty fun, but yeah, that was the main gist of this video, and also to seem a little bit mysterious, of course, like hiding behind, and at this time as well, I was like, I don't want to be doing any I was hell big on, I don't want to rap in my music videos. I just want to have the visuals there. Yeah. I've done a bit more of rapping.
I have to say, wow, that's
appreciate that.
That's art.
Oh, appreciate that.
Art right there. That's
thank
really
you.
cool.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
Like even if you made that ages ago, and like maybe when you first started getting it going, but that's so cool.
Oh, appreciate that. Yeah, like, that was
that's visual art right there.
Appreciate that. That was that was the first music video that I really was like, I want to make this like I want to take this music video from a different approach. So my process now for making a music video is like I was kind of saying, it's pretty full on, I guess. Like I will start with, obviously I'll listen to the song and I start to vision specific things, and now I've made like a storyboard for all my music videos. So like I draw in little squares and draw the cartoons and say like mid shot or something like that, and the camera's tracking or something, like just take down the movement and specifics and stuff, and be like, this will happen when these lyrics pop up and stuff. So when I go back to that storyboard, I can edit it perfectly in place. I'm like, oh, well, this is how to edit it. I've already written it down. And then after I make that storyboard, just so it's a bit easier to do on set, I'll make a shot list as well. So I'll just have like, kind of looks like an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't look too flash, but there's it's basically, yeah, it's like, what props do I need, what location is it, what kind of shot is it, what kind of camera movement and stuff. So every single shot, that's why I'll put like directed by Wesley Black on all my videos, because like obviously I can't shoot it if I'm in it, but I will direct it down to like the T at least. Like I'll be like, okay, so can you do this shot, but can you like do this kind of motion and stuff, and all that. So I'll know exactly what the music video should look like before we shoot it, and then after we shoot it, I'll have that whole storyboard that I can just use as a reference and be like, oh, well, here's the music video, I'll cut it up like this and stuff.
That's what I mean though. That's art. That's visual masterpiece.
I appreciate that.
Because you've thought all of it out. Like, this is how I want it to be. It's got to be like this and this and this, and like, and then it just turns out something beautiful. Like
I
that.
appreciate
like,
that. Yeah,
that's amazing though. Like,
I appreciate that a lot.
How long did it take you to make that at all? Was it like a couple of weeks or like, like 3 days? Like,
no, the red one. Oh, to write it down, I think it's hard to tell. Hey, because it's hard to tell when I first get those first visions. I'm like, oh, this scene will be so sick for this music video, and then maybe like it'll be like a few days later, I'll be like, oh wait, this one, and then I'll kind of come back to it, you know, on different days. But once I actually start the full storyboard shot list kind of thing, like maybe a few days for like a storyboard or shot list to get that all done, and then shooting it. Usually take a bit of organization, just because like setting up the location and getting all the necessary props is sometimes a bit of a challenge. Like that's not my strong suit, because that's like the actual like physical element. I love coming up with it, and then I'll usually like message a friend and be like, oh, do you know where I could get one of these or something like that, and try and exactly try and get that done. But and shooting it, so far all of my shoots have been on one day. Actually no, sorry, Outlaw was meant to be on one day, but yeah, that one, there was a few complications with that. Yeah, that Rachel remember, but we ended up shooting that on 2 days. So the main shots that we had to do, we just couldn't do because, well, in short, basically we went to this location.
Spill the goss.
Yeah. Well, I may as well. So basically in the Outlaw music video, I dropped that song just before the first like COVID lockdown kind of thing, and it was really big. So I couldn't obviously shoot anything that I wanted to shoot, and I wasn't willing to like kind of change my idea of it because I really like the idea, and one of the main ideas is because it's called Outlaw. I wanted to ride a horse in it, and so I was like, all right, I'm definitely not gonna do the music video unless I'm riding in a horse because I want to be like the key shot to it, you know, like that's what I want to push and market and stuff like that. So so we organized that through a friend of a friend, which may have been my first mistake, you know. So the girl, sorry, she was like, yeah, come use my horse or whatever. That's totally fine. And we ended up, there was some sort of miscommunication. Maybe she didn't speak to the lady who actually owns is the equestrian the right term? I don't know. Yeah. Yes, the equestrian park,
which is kind of like the horse park.
Yes,
horse ranch.
Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, well, I never knew you were coming to shoot this or whatever." And then I was like, "Oh, this is awkward." And I was like, "Oh, well, am I still able to?" And then she basically said in the meanest way possible, no. And she said, she said her husband was I don't want to say too much, but basically we were going to be in big trouble from her husband to carried some weapons of sorts if we were found on there. So we were like, yep, okay, say less. We're gonna leave and we're gonna sort it out. I can't actually remember how I got in touch with this specific lady. I might have just called a few places in the end, but this one I made sure I was like double confirmed, and I messaged the lady a few days before. I was like, we all still good for this day? And the lady who ran this equestrian park that we actually used for Outlaw, literally the nicest lady ever. The place I believe is called Sandelli. So if you ever need horse lessons or horse aesthetic or something like that, definitely go to her. She was actually such a G.
Are you on it?
He's already on it.
Yeah, he's on it.
I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, Sandelli.
Sandelli, here we go.
Yes, that's the one.
Sweet.
Big shout out to them. The only problem I ever had with them was actually when we got there, they had a cat who was a bit of a lazy cat. He was quite large, so he hung out in Just Play Media's car, who was the one who shot this whole video, and he basically hung out in the back of the van kind of, or SUV kind of thing, and he wouldn't leave, and we were kind of like nudging the cat for a while, being like, do you want to come out? Yeah, and so yeah, and so Trish, who I believe runs Sandelli, or she was the one that I was speaking to, she was like, "Oh, honestly, just pick him up and throw him. Like he'll land on his feet." So that's what we did, and he was actually fine. So yeah,
he's just a lazy cat.
Yeah, he literally was. He just really liked it there. So that was a really good fun to shoot, and yeah, a lot of things went well, but a lot of things went south, but we kind of turned them into something that really went well. So I'm kind of happy everything happened, and it gave us more time on that first day to shoot everything. And so, yeah, it all just worked out really well in the end. I was really happy with how this one turned out. Sorry.
All right, well, let's play it. Cheers,
yes,
bye.
This is Outlaw.
Looking up demo, by the way. You demand. He demand.
So there's me riding a horse.
Oh, look at you.
My first day I've done it. No galloping or anything,
of course. Is it the first time you've ever ridden a horse?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. It was rough.
Son.
Yeah, so
was it a bit scary riding the horse?
Man, definitely at the start. And Goon as well. Sorry, Goon is one of the main guys in this video. He plays one of the main characters, I guess you could say.
The T is out again.
Yes, yeah. Bit of continuation. So Goon's... Yeah. Of course. And there'll be some mirrors as well, like my kid. That's Goon, sorry. So he helped me a lot with getting this music video done. That's him driving as well. Us in that little red car. And of course, masks were a really big theme of this. And this shot's actually quite cool. I was happy with this. I gave it a little chop and screw. So yeah, so Goon helped a lot with this one as well. And yeah, just helping that whole idea come to life. And yeah, there's little oh no, they crashed.
Oh shit.
This so one, cool. Oh man, I'm so happy with how this shot turned out. I'll say how we did that in a sec, but
whereabouts is that as well?
Oh, it was somewhere in Rockingham. Actually, okay. Yeah, not sure. Because Goon lives in Rockingham. He's the plug for those locations, but there's me stumbling out the car crash. Very injured. Yeah, I was actually really happy with how this one turned out, hey. It's got a little trap drop in there and stuff, so that was fun, and I think this part's a bit choppy as well because the beat goes choppy. So I was like, let me just edit it to that beat. But
this is so professional.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, thank
This
you.
is so cool.
I appreciate that. Oh, that's actually, that doll is actually the album cover, not the album cover, sorry, the single cover as well. So we cut her hair off, and that was kind of the cover. Yeah, those shots were so. I got to use 2 of them of me hanging out the car. Most of them were pretty unwatchable or unusable, really. But then of course, got to get that little.
That's so cool.
Quentin Tarantino style. What's it called? Typography.
Look how baller you are.
Yeah, I had the bolo tie as well, so had to get one of those out. But yeah, no, that was good fun to shoot.
That's amazing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, that one as well was definitely the longest I've ever spent coming up with a music video, just because there was a lot of locations. I think we ended up only using 5, but I think originally there was like a lot of locations, and I was like, I gotta chill because it's a short song and it still needs to look consistent. I can't have too much going on in there, but it still managed to, have a lot going on and stuff, and editing as well. I edited that one, like, I swear that's cut like number 8 or something like that. And they were like full cuts because I originally wanted to have it say like part 1, here comes the outlaw or something like that. And then it's like the little intro and then part 2, blah, blah, blah. And there was like 4 parts to it. But I ended up being like, part 1 I actually only dropped on my Instagram as like a little teaser to what Outlaw was going to be. So it's like a 1-minute video and I ride in on the horse. I think it's all in black and white as well. And I get off the horse and Goon is standing there with this mask and he gives it to me and he's like, take this, you'll need it. And then I just take it, he disappears or whatever. And then I look down into this mirror on the floor, and that's the same mirror that I looked down to when I did those shots with Red, when I looked down into the mirror on the floor. So I was kind of going to cut between those and then transition into the main part of the video. But then from a marketing kind of point of view, I was like, this is going to be weird if people want to see my music video and it's like a whole minute with no music in it. And it's just like this little intro. So I decided to use that as like a trailer. And then the final cut of the music video was definitely the best one out of them, where it was just like, okay, this is what a music video is. And it still tells the same story. So I was really happy with how that one turned out. And oh yeah, especially that car crash shot was really fun. We basically just drove to like some part that it looked like we could crash into, raised up the bonnet, and then brought a power generator and connected that to a smoke machine and put the smoke machine in the bonnet. So we kind of like angled it that he would walk around and then he'd start to walk back as I come out the car. So you couldn't never see the smoke machine there. Yeah, which was cool. And as well, Goon was standing at the passenger seat window because he kind of plays like a conscience. Like he's not really meant to be an actual guy. That's why he's, always like kind of mysterious and stuff. So he's kind of giving me this mask and saying like, basically just like protect yourself and all this kind of stuff. And so when he gives it to me at the start, it kind of ties in after that car crash. He would be looking in the window and he'd be like, hey, I told you to wear that mask kind of thing and stuff. So
that's so
then,
cool though.
Yeah. So then once we zoom in and I came into shot, and Goon left the shot and I had to walk out the car. Then Just Play was like, all right, Goon, go. So Goon had to sneak out the shot so he didn't appear on the way back and stuff. So it was a lot of choreography as well, I guess, going into it, but and practical stuff.
Like I said, that's art.
Oh, I appreciate that.
That is so cool.
Oh, I appreciate that a lot.
Do you have any more music video clips like that?
I got yeah.
I want to watch more.
I've got.
You got to keep doing this. Like,
I think it might be 11 actually. We put on this one. I'll be honest, is more a lyric video than a music video. So this one doesn't have as much of a story, but I just went it was more like me just going crazy on the editing and stuff. And I was like, hey, I might as well show some effects I can do and stuff. And it's more of a lyric video, like the lyrics pop up. But I'm working on a couple more music videos that are like I've written the storyboard to now. Some from my EP as well. So I'm super excited. I don't want to give too much away, but they'll be like they'll be really different, and they'll be kind of like what Outlaw was. Like it will have like a whole story from start to end and stuff, and it'll have me playing like a different Wesley Black, like a real character and stuff. So I'm really excited to take it to the next level and just make a harder music video and put a lot more thought into costumes and settings and stuff. So that's what I definitely am always trying to one up myself. That's my goal. But yeah, this is 11. This more so lyric video kind of one.
All right, roll it, demo.
So yes, this one as well, directed and edited, of course. So we went to this abandoned
warehouse, I guess you could say. Yeah, abandoned warehouse, and we shot it all with a VHS camera and some standing like blue lights and stuff. And yeah, just got like a few like jewelry shots and stuff like that, and all this cool kind of like little edgy kind of Wesley Black side. So that was fun as well. Even those little what's it called, text effects and stuff was really fun to make. So this one took a really long time to edit, to be honest.
What, like
just
how long? Like, a week or two, or?
Yeah, maybe something like that. Like as well, this one is looped. Like I was saying, it's of course it's like a lyric video, so the main focus has to be on the lyrics. That I didn't want to change it up too much. And also, if I edited an entire music video in this style where it's this choppy and glitchy and edity and stuff like that, that would take me like like an insanely long time, because this is probably like maybe a 20-second loop where I was just like, let me chuck as many effects as I can in, and a few switch ups in there of course. But yeah, that took me, I'd say like maybe like a week or two to edit it, like going pretty serious at it and stuff. And that was a lot of Photoshop as well. Like now I've gotten into a lot of, I gotta make some stuff in the best place I can make them, you know, like I'll make all the type stuff in Photoshop and all the cutting out effects in Photoshop, and then I'll bring them into Premiere Pro to put it all together and stuff, rather than just doing it all in one spot. I'm like, you know what, I may as well take use of this whole Adobe Cloud and then all my strengths and stuff. So yeah, so that was fun. Actually, yeah, after this I did a few lyric videos and music videos for like other people, which is sick, because they were like, oh, that was sick, like so you edited that and all that, and I was like, yeah, like if you ever need. And so I did a couple more music videos, which is good fun. So
can we pull those ones up as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because as I said, like, this is talent, right?
Oh, appreciate that a lot.
This is talent. This is so cool. Because that's the thing as well, is like when I go and interview a lot of different DJs and people around the place and stuff like that, you know, like we always discuss about building the brand, making your brand.
Yeah.
This is a brand.
Oh yeah. No, I appreciate that.
This is more than a brand. Like this is Quentin Tarantino meets
man,
Perth.
That means a lot, man. Nah, for real, that actually really means a lot to me. Like visual aspect is definitely like the most serious I take it, because if you think about it as well, like, you know, music can always sound like kind of cringe or whatever, like it can, but like music videos just have that much more of a risk, because you're like actually in it and you're like planning it and stuff, or some people plan it obviously, but like, you know, you kind of like, a video is just like so much more of a risk that it just has to be like perfect. Otherwise people will be like, what is this video and stuff. So that's why I take it like really seriously, and I really like study. That's why, you know, the movies that I watch are such big inspirations. I'm like, wow, like how do they do this and stuff? And it's like, I gotta try and do this and stuff. So as well, like a lot of music videos that I watch now, like I find myself watching a lot more music videos start to finish now, just of other artists, because I'm like, wow, I gotta see what the new trend is, or what they're kind of doing, or how can I do this or do it differently and
doing
stuff.
Your research as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I mean. Like you built a brand and you're doing research, and it's so cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
You know
that
what
really
you're
means
doing,
a lot.
kind of
yeah,
thing, right?
that means a lot. No, for real, it does. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask as well, like, where did you learn all of this stuff? Like, did you just sit at home and just grind away on After Effects and stuff? Or
yeah, to be honest, like when I first started doing like Photoshop, that was the first ever one I started. I did that like just at home and doing a few tutorials or asking a friend for help, and kind of just doing these really terrible edits in hindsight, but they were kind of cool. That was like starting points and stuff, and I was like,
you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, and it was cool because I was like, oh, eventually I could create my own like cover arts and stuff like that, and this could be cool. And then it just kept expanding. I actually made I don't know if I've still got it anywhere, but I made this song called Telephobia, and this is like an old song. Like I'm not the biggest fan of it now, but I made the cover art for it, which actually might be on Facebook, I think. But yes,
on
I made
your main page, or
on the Wesley Black page, and that's it's like a really colorful kind of one, and I drew that girl on it. I'm like a really bad drawer, but I made this on Illustrator, and this is like a passable drawing at least. Yes, that's the one there. Actually, that looks kind of good. I'll take that.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool. What are you talking about?
I'm definitely not much of a drawer though, but that was I was happy with that at least, and so so that background effect, actually I was making it for ages, and I was making some sort of computer
thing in there, and it just glitched out, like actually glitched out, that when I exported it, it looked like that colorful background, and I was like, no, what happened to my original one? I was like, I was working so hard on it, and I was like, well, actually, this looks really sick. So that was like, a lot of that was made by fluke, that I just made something, the computer glitched out, and even when I exported it, I thought it was just Photoshop stuffing up, but even when I exported it, I couldn't get back the original one, and it was that, and I was like, cool, I'll make that into something. And
so it was like a heavy mistake almost.
Yeah, pretty much. And with that cover art as well, there's all these like paper tears and stuff, and there's like text and stuff, and there's the actual lady holding the phone and like magic-y kind of stuff coming out of it. So when I was thinking about how can I promote this, this is such a long process as well, but I took it into Premiere Pro, and I basically exported every single layer separately, and I was like, how can I move these so it looks like one fluid animation? So she kind of like, I don't know if I've still got that animation, but this is one of the first ones I did, but she kind of flies into the screen and the phone shakes a bit like it's calling, and then the edges kind of tear in and stuff. So I was like, oh, I can actually animate my cover art so I can actually give it a little more boost, and people actually listen to it, you know? If I just post the cover art, people might just be like, you know, yeah, I'll listen to it eventually, but if you post the like snippet with the video, people are like, oh, well, I've already listened to it. If I like it, I'll check it out and stuff. So I just started doing that kind of stuff, which I ended up, teaching myself as well, I guess. Like, I was just like moving kind of parts of it, and then I did study film at Murdoch as well, so that was handy, because I was like, I love to do directing and writing, as you could probably see, I guess. But editing,
100%.
yeah.
Was that a degree as well, or?
Yes, okay, so I actually just graduated.
Oh, really?
I haven't had my ceremony, but I've done my last units, and I'm just waiting for it now. Oh, thank you very much. So did a degree of graphic design and screen production, I guess is what they call it, but film, I guess, and yeah, that's all been really helpful in my music stuff, that it's like, you know, I feel like I've definitely been able to save a lot of money by doing that kind of stuff myself as well, and I got to keep my artistry and stuff, you know, like sorry, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, because then that, as what we've said before, it's like, then it's your vision.
Exactly.
It's what you want to create, instead of paying someone else, and then, you know, they'll send back 3 different ones, and you go, oh, that one.
Exactly. And I feel like, some people of course will be like, oh, like there'll be like a lot of what's it called, revisions. There'll be a lot of revisions and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'd rather just like sit in it myself and get to change what I want to change and stuff. So like, obviously I can't do everything for the music videos, but besides shooting, I think those last few videos I've done just about everything, like direct writing and shooting and stuff, and I've usually gone with Just Play Media, so shout out him as well. He's like really big in the 6K scene of shooting videos, like he's like, most people would have worked with him at some point. Like, he loves doing that stuff, and he's really great behind a camera, and he uses really cool stuff now. Like, since the first time I've used him, and the cameras he's using now is like an insane transition and stuff. So he's definitely someone I recommend working with, and helped me get my visions on paper into the actual,
make it come to fruition kind of thing.
Exactly that. So that was definitely good fun making those.
I was gonna ask as well, so like, 2 things. What's your favorite the best gig you've probably ever done?
Oh,
like, Like, and then also, where do you want to take Wesley Black, and like, where do you see the future, and like what you really want to do? Because this is so cool. Like, honestly, like,
I appreciate that.
Where can you go from here? Just up and up and up kind of thing. Like,
hopefully, hey, I think I definitely
give it a couple of years and be in Hollywood. Like.
Oh, that would be sick. That would be very sick. I think I've got definitely got a lot of aspirations, and kind of like I was saying before, I never want to stop creating in any of those, you know. Like, there'll be times obviously where I'm like, I don't make music for a few weeks, and I'm just writing, or I'm just designing, or doing video stuff, you know. You can't force that kind of stuff, I feel, but you know, as long as I'm creating something, then it will always end up working like a wheel, and it will come back to me somehow. So I definitely want to keep creating in all those avenues. I'd love, as like a big goal outside of music, to write that Angel Hunter story and just be really happy with it and stuff, and really put all these ideas I've had into one fluent, like, congruent story, I guess, and kind of be like, oh yeah, this is what I was, you know, talking about in my music, this whole Angel Hunter aspect kind of coming to life. So that would be really sick. And I definitely want to finish that. I think
I was gonna say as well, you could just be like, My Chemical Romance, like the lead singer who ended up making that TV show, Umbrella Corporation or something. Like,
yeah. I think I vaguely heard of that. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, give it 5 years, you're a rock star. And you're like, I had this idea for a movie.
Yeah, and even like Jared Leto as well, who's like such a famous actor, but he's also like the front man for 30 Seconds to Mars. Is like insane. It's like, how can someone be like so successful in those different kind of fields and stuff? So I think
media.
Yeah, exactly. I think like once that happens, they're like, oh wait, there's a movie with the guy from 30 Seconds to Mars, or vice versa. They're like, oh, there's a song with like my favorite actor in it or something, and he's singing. So they kind of cross over. So that's definitely something I want to do. I want to be able to be like, make music videos for other people and be like, oh, who's this like director guy? And when they end up checking me out, they're like, whoa, he's actually making music as well. So that would be cool. I think creating a lot. I definitely want to put a lot more into visuals and stuff. Like, I think I'm really happy with my visuals now, but I'm always wanting to take them to the next level and stuff. And kind of like you were saying, I want to make it like some sort of, not like Hollywood, but like something that feels like cinematic and stuff, I guess. And like, and people can be like, oh, that's a Wesley Black video, I can tell, or like that's Wesley Black's editing right there, I can tell, or something like that. And yeah, kind of create like an aura around a Wesley Black show is really important to me. Like how we were saying, like all those ideas and how people can remember the experience of being like, oh yeah, we got to like mosh pit and go into the crowd and stuff, or even be like, oh, like even when he was just on stage, he did this with like all these visual elements and stuff like that. So keep expanding creatively and really push the boundaries. I would love to be like, I'm always trying to be like one step ahead of I don't know, of myself, like last month, or like other artists in Perth, like nothing but love to them, obviously. Like these guys are my friends and stuff, and not even competition. This is like a friendly, what do you call it? Like
a family almost.
Yeah, exactly. So
friendly rivalry.
Yes, somewhat like that. Yeah, so like definitely like love these guys. It's just like I really want to be like the first to do some sort of things and stuff, like, and I want to like really just tackle it head on and stuff and turn my ideas into stuff.
It's like a friendly competition kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just love for people to walk away being like, man, I got to go to the next Wesley Black show. Like that was really cool. And kind of, I like to tease something at each show being like, oh yeah, come through to my next one. I'm going to be doing something a bit different, or have a different set list, or something different will change. And especially with these Armageddon ones where I run them myself, I have so much more freedom that I can actually like talk to the promoters and be like, hey, can I do this, or can I do this, and stuff, and I can actually like find out what's possible and what's not possible. Whereas if I'm performing on someone else's show, obviously not everything is going to be possible and stuff, because they've got their own stuff to run, and don't want to be getting in the way of that. But that would be sick as well. If it's hard to say because of recent times and COVID, of course, but I'd love to perform in like other countries, like over east. 100%, I love that, and I think that's definitely attainable soon. I'd love to do that, like maybe like me, Rage 6KMC, go over there and just do a couple shows. That would be really cool, just get our name out there. And we've started talking to a few like artists over there, which is really cool. I love to like meet up with those people and just keep networking and see what's going on in other cities and stuff, and see how that can inspire me as well. But I'd really love to do shows, and like with the music I'm making now, I feel like Germany, Russia, Croatia, Europe, something like that would be so sick, and I would love to do that.
So cool.
Yeah, with those places where this like trap and EDM is like so much part of their like culture, and they're like really big into that music, and I wonder how they would react when they see kind of rap blending in with it. Like it's I guess I really want to push this style, like this whole album. I feel like I made this album Angel, or this EP, sorry, Angel, thinking that I haven't heard an EP sound like this before. I haven't heard like a full project take on this whole style where it's like these really banging heavy beats that don't necessarily need vocals or rap on them, but I put it anyway, and I've tried to add an extra layer and stuff. So it's like kind of me versus the beat in a lot of these songs, in a good way. Like it's like I feel like we're feeding off each other and stuff. So that whole album, I feel like created this whole new sound for Australia maybe, or even, I don't know, other places, the world or something like that. Like, I think there's people who've done similar sounds, definitely, but I think as long as I keep improving, I will
pioneering
be exactly. I'll be the first to do something musically for sure. Like, that's my goal, and just keep expanding and take into account what's trending, but don't follow these trends like blindlessly. Like, I gotta stick to, you know, what would Wesley Black do and stuff like that. Like, that's the golden rule. Kind of stay true to myself, I guess, and create what I want to see myself have been created 5 years later, you know? Like, I want to look back and be like, whoa, I really like that wave that I was kind of on then, or I like this kind of idea and vision I had. So I think those are probably some of my main goals. Just keep pushing the boundaries, keep making music I want to make, tour, take my music places, and visually just like keep I don't know, like never stop, I guess, like keep kind of pushing and evolving, like you were saying, like get to the next level somehow. So that's my main goals.
Cool.
Oh, honestly, I appreciate that.
That is so cool.
I appreciate
You've
that.
got a vision. That's just amazing. Like, you know where you want to go.
Yeah.
You're
100%.
gonna get there. I bet you'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate
like,
that.
in 5 years, I'll be like, I interviewed this guy.
Yeah.
now he's up there.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, that really means a lot.
And I was going to ask as well, so like the visuals and stuff like that you... So what are the visuals for like the live shows and stuff like that? Like, are they just like, you know, just like projection mapping and stuff like that? Or like, what do you mean by that?
Well, I don't want to give too much away for this upcoming one, but with some stuff that I've used, like or
like even in the past, like with other gigs
with some stuff that I use, I just think about like, how can I set up the stage to just seem like it's not like, oh, I performed at the Record Bite and, you know, it just looks like the Record Bite. I'll be like, oh, how can I, you know, someone will see this and they see the whole setup and they're like, oh, maybe Wesley Black was here, kind of thing. You know, I set up stuff and I like as well taking account, what did I use in my music video? I keep those props, like the masquerade masks from Outlaw, and I'd love to chuck them on my shows and stuff like that. Maybe just hang them around, so it kind of gives a bit more of an aura and stuff. And even roses or something like that would be really cool just to chuck it up.
If I went to a show and they threw a whole bunch of roses in the crowd, like, this is cool.
Straight up. Oh, noted.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And also on eBay, they're only $3 each. So.
Ooh, noted. Okay, that's actually handy. I didn't know that because I've been spending a lot of money on those for the videos, so I might have to make a change. That stuff's super fun. Even considering like smaller stuff, like what would the lighting be for this track and stuff. And so I've played around with that. Like at the first Armageddon, I played the song Red, and I played it right to the chorus, and then I said no, wait, and I spoke to the sound and lighting guy beforehand, obviously, because this would never happen otherwise. But I said, like, I was like, oh, the light's a bit bright, can you just fix that up? I can't perform properly. And it was just normal lighting, and then he fixed it and he set it to like the all red lighting and stuff, which I played with him before, and as soon as the lighting turned red, then everyone was like, ooh, like they knew it was coming, kind of thing. So after that, I was like, man, people like can even react to these things that people might not consider to be like that important, like the lighting and stuff, but in a way it actually really is. Like, you can really set the tone and stuff, and like stuff like 11, I always want to perform that under like blue lighting now, because it's like, it sets the tone and it looks like the music video. Like, I really want to bring those music videos to life on stage, like bring the props from it there, bring the lighting from it there, and do all these kind of stuff. And even like what is cool that I haven't always done, but bring like the characters from there too. So like if I have like the mask guys or whatever, and they're actually in their costumes on stage, that would be like super sick and stuff. So like just having like those guys on stage, and so it's kind of like you're watching the music video in live action, is like something really cool that I'm fascinated with. Another few ideas are like are a bit more, I don't know, a bit more revolutionary and stuff, but I want to save them just for Armageddon, just because in case like maybe something goes wrong and I can't do them, I don't want anyone to take those ideas or anything like that.
That's a good way to put it. Revolutionary. Yes. That's what. Keep
exactly.
doing that.
Yeah. I want to. These are definitely like the things I'm thinking of are like something that I've been like, okay, no one's done these yet, and I don't think anyone's rushing to do them, so I might as well knock them out now.
Reinvent the wheel. Just keep going. Keep pushing.
Which is because like I was saying, I think before we started, properly speaking, is we had a show booked for this Friday to launch that last Friday's Angel EP, and that was that's at third Armageddon one, and I was super excited for that this Friday at the Rosemount, and then it got changed, so it's now the 21st of August. So which gives us like another month and a bit, which is obviously at the start I was like bummed because I was like, man, I was so excited to do this show. But it's also been like a real blessing in disguise that it's been like this stuff that I was like not 100% sure about if I could pull off and if I've done it right. I've got extra time and I'm going to use this time like seriously. I'm going to make sure that this is the best gig I've ever done because I'm going to put in a lot for it, and I'm going to make sure like this stuff that I have ideas from, I've got the time now. I don't have any excuses. I got like 6 or so weeks, maybe. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I can't do the math, but I've got time to practice these and make sure like it just works for when the show comes and stuff. So that's gonna be really fun to test out. And sorry, I think you said as well at the start. You said what's one of the my favorite gigs I've done. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. When it comes to mind, I definitely think of the other 2 Armageddons I've done, just because of like the whole culture around it, and a lot of my friends that don't come to all my gigs I find pulling up to those, which is cool, just because like I run it and I really push it. I'm like, yo, I run this event, like pull up and stuff, which is cool. So those ones definitely stand out as well. I really enjoyed last August 21st, we did a show called Shake the Room at Jack Rabbit's, which Rach and 6KMC ran, and that one was so sick because that was like a sellout of Jack Rabbit Slims, which is like huge. So I think that's got to be the biggest crowd I've performed in front of. So I did like Red and Outlaw and 11 and stuff, and that was cool.
That's the thing, the capacity at Jack Rabbit's like 400. That's pretty cool.
It was definitely that was super fun, and Rach killed it as well on that one because obviously she organized it, but also she was still on top of everything through the night. Like she made sure that the lights went blue for 11 and the lights went red for Red and stuff like that. And at the end as well, I got to do an encore, which was really cool because
was everyone chanting.
They were doing. And now this is like good and bad, but it's kind of become like at my last like. I don't know, my last shows since then, basically, like, they've always been like, oh, one more song, or like encore or something like that, which is like, it means a lot to me, but also like I said, after every show, I'm like dead, so sometimes I'm like, alright, I'll do one more, I'll just give in, and sometimes I'm like, man, I'm really sorry, but I just can't, but thank you so much, or whatever, or stuff like that, so that was...
But that's good, though, because then instead of just doing it every single time, it's like when you actually do it, then the crowd's like, oh my god,
exactly, and sometimes I'm like, not even lying, I literally just can't, I'm like, man, I think I need to just sit down for a bit. I'm feeling dizzy and stuff. So,
that's so cool though that you put so much energy into it. To the point where you're just like, no, I have to. Like I gotta take a break. I'm sorry, guys, but like that was a lot of work.
I just remembered actually at that black and white video we showed, that Armageddon 2 one, which is that one November last year. That was really funny at the end because I performed it and I had like a singlet underneath, like a tank top or whatever, and I had like an overshirt, and I took off the overshirt to do Red at the end because I was like, man, it's getting too hot. And then for some reason they started like chanting or cheering to take my shirt off, like to take the actual singlet off or whatever, and for some reason I was like, oh, okay, may as well. And then someone started chanting to take my pants off, and I was like, alright, I gotta draw the line here. I can't. I was like, my mum's at this gig as well, so I just did it shirtless, which was funny just because I've never seen a crowd react to like, I don't know, me taking off an item of clothing, but I'll take it. So that was good fun.
It's rock stardom.
Straight
up.
So that was good fun.
So
I have a quick question, mate.
Yes.
Let's just say, working with Rachel, mind telling us a bit about your performance on the
I was
YNG
just
TV?
about to ask this.
Oh, yes.
So what actually is this?
So Young TV is a series that Young Rach started where it's basically like it's like a mini, I guess you could call it like a mini documentary kind of thing, like a mini showcase. So it goes through like the artist will answer questions that Young Rach has like asked us, and she actually has done a Young TV episode on Bex, I gotta say as well.
Oh, really?
She's done one on your boy Mars as well, who's another Perth rapper who's like really killing it right now. And so I was on the second episode, which was really sick, and we used a lot of the footage from, this is actually that last August 21st, the Shake the Room event at Jack Rabbit Slim. So she kind of asked me a few questions, and I kind of, there's a few performance shots and me rehearsing at a rehearsal room and sound check and at my friend's place and stuff. So that was really cool. We got to like make a little story and that was really cool. I remember sharing that around and people were like, yo, there's like a little documentary on you and stuff. So
Yo, that sounds
it was definitely good.
Really cool.
Yeah. I mean, all credit due to Rach. Like she's organized that and she's done a few of them now and they've all been killer. So yeah, so this is
Do we have permission to play?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yes, yeah, I edited these. So that was at that Jackrabbit's one. And then, this is a really cool shot as well. We did the old little. Oh no, not yet. This is us going through. That's Jackrabbit sings with the lights off and us doing sound checks. So yeah,
Wesley
obviously
Black
there's no one in the crowd,
is
so.
a music artist and a visual artist. I want to be creating
these shots are really cool as well.
Visuals, so like directing and editing, but I mainly want those all to fall under my music category
Yeah,
and
there you
help
can
me
just see
achieve
like,
my music goals.
oh yeah, he's not there.
Oh man, Wesley Black in this video, good. You already know you.
Yeah, see, that's why you get, oh yeah, there's me in my same hoodie. I just did a little intro and Just Play Media, who I was talking about before, he edited this part. He absolutely killed it. This is such a sick intro. Yeah, that was really cool. Like Rach kind of had this idea of like, you know, you got to see behind the artist and a big part of like pushing your music, I guess, is people to be like, to know stuff about you, I guess. So they got to know like who's this artist and what's their goals and stuff. So
I feel like the biggest
I think over the
misconception
top
my
of this
dreams
is probably
that, especially in music, a lot
yeah,
of
it is
the
me talking. I think I was just
images
talking
that a lot of
about
artists push
inspirations,
forward
all
is
that
that
kind
they
of
kind of
stuff,
some
but
sort
this
of
is us
lone wolf or
performing at
maybe
the
even have a small
house.
team. But I feel like if you go to shows, it's really important to make friends and not just network, but just collaborate and communicate with people, and it allows you to keep creating.
that's
So I
also
feel like
June's old
a
apartment,
misconception
and I
is
was
that you
using
have
his
to do a lot on
auto-tune
your
box.
own.
That's something that's really fun to use live is the auto-tune pedal or whatever you want to call it, where you can actually just like put yourself in keys and make you have music.
See, that's one thing I wanted to say as well. Facebook profile, and you don't get to know who they are.
I think my message to youth
But, like,
is
this is cool. Like,
be cool with your emotions
I
and be
agree,
cool
I
with who
agree
you
as
are.
well,
And I
because
feel like
it's
that's a
fucking-
lot that I
as you
push
said,
forward
like,
in my
Q&A,
music. So
it's like
a lot of
visuals, like,
emotions that I was originally
Yeah.
uncomfortable with, I
And
found a way
there's so many
to
shots
really
that
find
an artist
myself
would
through
never
music
post in
and push
general.
that
Like,
forward.
you
So
wouldn't
really
post
find a way to
yourself
create
rehearsing
and
or doing
just
this
keep
kind of
working, just keep
behind the
creating.
scenes stuff. But Rachel's basically like, yeah, just film all this stuff and we'll just use the best of it or whatever. And yeah, that was good. I was playing a little sad song at the end, or a slow song. It was like an acoustic song. So that's that's what I was saying before. There's a lot of changes coming to my music now that I've created this Angel EP that I've been working so hard on creating this new sound. I'm like, okay, I'm not done with this sound, but I've made this sound. I want to experiment with these other sounds that I've been thinking about for ages. Let me go into them now. So I've got a few more poppy and indie stuff, I guess, and a few more acoustic stuff. And recently working with different producers, a lot of different music. To be honest, I use a lot of electronic music, but I just don't know a lot about it. I think you would say like, is future bass a thing? I don't know, something like that. Like
I'm
it sounded
in the same boat as well.
Yeah.
Like, just new genres keep popping.
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
And I'm just like, I just like rock and roll.
Yeah, but yeah, there's some stuff that sound like, you know, like a bit flumy or a bit like really heavy, grungy kind of stuff. And so I've got a real big collection now that I'm sitting on, and I just got to figure out, you know, what do I want to release? What am I feeling? And what will my fans or listeners not expect? So now that I've released Angel, my next single is going to sound nothing like it. I've always wanted that. I was like, well, once I release this hard EP, I'm going to release something that people aren't going to expect. It's going to be the full 180 or something. So not sure entirely. I'm picking between two songs at the moment, which might be the best one to release, but whatever one releases, I'm going to be super excited to push it because I think it's some of my best work. As I think of Angel, of course, but I think this is just going to be a really cool surprise to people who have just listened to Angel, and then in a few months' time they might get to hear something that is completely different, and they'll be like, oh wait, what's Wesley Black's sound? And they'll kind of get to pick, you know. I think being versatile is one of my favorite ambitions to be an artist. Yeah.
All right, well, we've only got 5 minutes left.
Oh, perfect.
But it's just like, wow.
Oh,
I'm sitting here stunned like, this
oh,
is
man.
so...
I
Like,
appreciate
this has been
that.
a really cool episode. I have to admit, like, the
that-
media, the art, the vision, everything.
Oh, man.
It's
appreciate
so
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
So where can people find your music and stuff
Yes.
like that?
So Wesley Black is what you can find on all accounts. So that will be like, you know, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, iTunes, all that kind of stuff, whatever you listen to. And on pretty much most social medias, actually I would probably say all, it's Wesley Black TV. So that's Instagram is Wesley Black TV, and same with, like, you know, if you can't find me on SoundCloud or something for whatever reason, always give it a shot of like soundcloud.com/Wesley Black TV. And that would probably be it. That's the same with all of them. Like YouTube will have that same link, and Facebook as well. So yeah, Wesley Black under everything, and Wesley Black TV under all those social usernames.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we? What? Yeah, we do. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Read them out, please.
From
Rach.
YNG Rash, we have the blowing smoke out of your nose emoji. From Rash Gold, we have the angel emoji. And from 6K MC, we have Prince Was angel emojis. And we have our good friend Lewis Vogel talking about the sea peoples and the Greenwich Mean Time. Now, I'm not going to give you people a history on ancient Egypt and the late Bronze Age collapse, but they are an interesting bunch to sea people.
The sea people. What?
And the Greenwich Mean Time is the standardization of time that governs the time of the UK and Portugal. Yeah. So I got it right here.
And Portugal. Yeah. And you pulled it up as well.
I pulled it up.
Well, I'm glad you could answer that, because I didn't have any idea.
Neither. I'm sitting there like,
well, the sea people were seafaring people who were known for almost barbarism, you could say. And they actually did conquer much of Central Europe, actually.
What year was this?
This was in late Bronze Age collapse, so it was 1200 to 900 BC.
Okay.
A bit too much before my time, to be honest.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Just a little history lesson.
Yeah, how would you? Hey, you should make a music video out of that, mate.
Yeah. One set in the 1200s.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
It could be very interesting.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
This has been an experience, a ride, and everything.
Oh, appreciate that.
Like the horses, like, you know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
outlaw, the video clips, everything. It's so cool.
Oh, appreciate that.
To see to meet someone who's just got an amazing vision. Like,
oh, thank you so much.
Wants to, you know, as I said, you're gonna go places.
Oh, thank you so much.
I can't see how you can not be going places in a way. Like,
yeah. Oh, I appreciate that so much. I'm gonna say as well, thank you so much, like, number one, for having me on here, because like you said as well, that the time's gonna fly past. It really did. I felt like I was talking for so much of that, and I'm not usually that talkative, but yeah, I really got to talk about some stuff that I was really keen to talk about, and some stuff that I had no idea we we're gonna talk about. And as well, I gotta say thanks as well for the both of you for just, like, I don't know, kind of like your insight, and kind of like, it was really cool to hear, like, what you guys thought of, like, the videos and stuff like that, and
complete art.
Yeah,
art.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Like, it's so cool.
You're too kind, man. I appreciate that, though. That really means a lot, because I really love, like, taking care of that artistic vision and stuff. That's a big goal of mine. So it was really enjoyable to talk about that stuff with you here today.
And so when is Armageddon 3 as well?
Armageddon 3 is now August 21st, which is a Saturday night, and it will be at the Rosemount Hotel. I think doors will be open at 8, so come anytime after that. Yeah, definitely come towards the start of that, because the lineup is really sick for it. I'll just quickly say there's Ruinous, Young Pascal, your boy Mars, who I mentioned earlier, and of course Young Rach will be on the decks as always. And yeah, it'll be a show that I'll make sure, if you do pull through, you'll have a great time, and it will be my best one yet. I can make that a promise.
Oh. Well, yeah, amazing.
I appreciate that.
So,
appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And the thing is, as well, is, like I said, all the other guests is like in a year or in like 2 years, or, you know, like, I'll get you back on.
Yes.
And then we can just talk about like where you were.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Where you are now, kind of thing.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
I can imagine you're gonna have a lot of progress in the next couple of years.
Yeah, hopefully more videos to show as well.
Yes,
that would be fun.
Please.
Yes, yep. I'll definitely make sure of that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Wesley. Thank you so much. Thank you, Damo, for your amazing camera skills.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rach, for hanging out
Yeah.
chilling in the background. All right, and then so I can't remember who we got on next week, but I'll just post it anyway later on. And we got to wave to the camera because Mr. Coletta makes us wave to the camera.
I do. It's how they know it's over.
Yeah. All right. Catch you guys. We'll see you next week. Catch you.